possible fraud charges for Gypsy Rose.
Gypsy Rose Blanchard and her boyfriend Nicholas Gaujon are facing murder charges in the death of Claudinea or Dee Dee Blanchard, Gypsy's mother. Court documents say the two admitted to their part in the crime, but Dee Dee's death has uncovered an alleged pattern of financial fraud, one that may have included charities in Kansas City. In 2009, Fox 4 first met Gypsy and her self-proclaimed Cajun mama. The two claimed they were from Louisiana and had lost everything in Hurricane Katrina.
And no shoes, truthfully.
And to make matters worse, Gypsy, who at the time claimed to be 14 years old, also reportedly suffered from multiple medical issues. Dee Dee and Gypsy were on their way to Kansas City on an Angel flight from Springfield to be seen by doctors at Children's Mercy.
They've been a huge blessing in our life. I all the time say between Angel Flight, the Hope Lodge, and Children's Mercy, they saved my baby's life.
Gypsy Rose appeared sweet and childlike.
To do that out of the kindness of their hearts is amazing.
But Sheriff Jim Arnott from Greene County, Missouri says everything people thought they knew about Gypsy and Dee Dee may have been a lie. He says Gypsy doesn't even need the wheelchair she's always seen in. She walks just fine. The two spent time at the Hope Lodge in Kansas City, run by the American Cancer Society. You see them here in Facebook photos as Dee Dee gets her head shaved in solidarity with Gypsy and to raise money for cancer research. The organization wouldn't comment on their time at the Hope Lodge. Children's Mercy also wouldn't comment for privacy reasons, but in an article, a doctor describes the two as positive and supportive. And for Angel Flight, a representative there says he is shocked by the accusations of fraud and murder. However, he says there was proper medical identification for Gypsy to be on Angel Flights.
Volunteer Way, Springfield, Missouri.
So, as the case continues to unfold, more may come out about how a mother-daughter pair that seemed like the perfect story of hope
Feels so cool.
allegedly became an example of deceit. Now, in full disclosure, I met Gypsy and Dee Dee while a volunteer at the Kansas City Hope Lodge. Gypsy and her boyfriend are in jail on a $1 million bond each. As an example of alleged fraud in the Blanchards' lives, charging documents give 3 different birthdays for Gypsy.
Against her are detailed. You can hear her sobs.
Stole money from her deceased mother's safe and fled the state of Missouri.
And when she does speak in Waukesha County Court, she sounds like a child.
2103 West Volunteer Way.
But Gypsy Blanchard is an adult. Although authorities aren't sure exactly how old she is, it's likely somewhere between 19 and 23.
I remember my mom had gave me this little glass house, and she said, one day this will be real. And now it finally is.
That's Gypsy 7 years ago, clutching her mother Dee Dee's hand, the woman she's now accused of asking her boyfriend, Nicholas Gaujon, to stab to death.
It's so easy to live here, and it's so peaceful.
The two were interviewed after Habitat for Humanity built them a handicapped accessible home because of Gypsy's disabilities. They said she was confined to a wheelchair.
We have an awesome bathtub. It's a jacuzzi tub meant for my muscles. And we have a wonderful ramp.
And I want to start off with saying things are not always as they appear.
Authorities say the two were lying. You can see Gypsy for yourself walking into court. Now, along with the investigation into Dee Dee's murder, authorities are also looking into what appears to be a financial scheme.
This is a tragic event surrounded by mystery and public deception.
Alleging Gypsy and her mother lied about Gypsy's health to get money and attention.
This is an ongoing investigation. And I want to start off with saying things are not always as they appear. I know that you all have most of the information related to the PC statement, so I'm going to start going into some facts that we have, and then I'll take questions. Both Facebook postings that appeared that everyone has copies of were authored by Gypsy. As we dig into this further, we'll have more information regarding the details. I want to make a statement to use caution in donating money to this family at this time, as we have unearthed the appearance of a long financial fraud scheme along with this tragic event. It appears As you all know, when we put out the age of Gypsy, it appears that there is several date of births that have been used over a period of time, ranging from the age of 19 to 23, and we will dig into that further to find the exact correct one. We have investigators working on that. We also know that she can walk without assistance or a wheelchair, and she can do that very well. We really don't know the true background of this family. We've received information that they are Hurricane Katrina victims, as you all have, but we have not confirmed that. This is a tragic event surrounded by mystery and public deception. I want to say thanks to the Waukesha County Sheriff's Office and to Sheriff Severson, who has been an invaluable resource to the Greene County Sheriff's Office as we've proceeded through this investigation. We are at a point now that the prosecutor has filed charges this morning for first-degree murder on 2 suspects. You have that information. We also have booking photos to pass out to the media of when both of these 2 suspects were booked in. We do appreciate the public's assistance in this entire case. We received a lot of background information. A lot of information has come forward, and we appreciate everyone's assistance through this tragic event, and I'll take questions.
Do you know more of the timeline now of when the murder occurred?
You know, we do have a timeline. We know that they were here in Springfield for at least probably 1 to 2 days after the murder had taken place. And there is video footage of them, several different businesses here in Springfield before they departed.
Was it a Greyhound bus or?
It was a, I would assume it would be, because I think that's the only bus station we have here.
What's going to happen to Dee Dee now, the mother? When's her funeral going to be? Do they have other family?
Yeah, I don't have all the details on that as of yet. Dee Dee has been separated from their family for at least 16 years for various reasons, as some of you have unearthed by doing some research. But there's not a lot of family contact, and it really goes back to a lot of deception with family and everyone else, and so there's a separation there.
Can you go into more about that financial fraud, what you've learned?
You know, I can't specifically, other than if you, in the investigation, there were several $1,000s in cash stolen that she had in a safe, and we know that they received a lot of GoFundMe accounts. There was some other accounts set up and some other things that we're looking into. But as I said at the beginning, things are not always as they appear. We and we don't know the extent of the fraud, but it seems pretty lengthy.
Did Dee Dee orchestrate the fraud, or was it Gypsy?
Well, you know, we will look into that and see. You know, there's a lot of things that Dee Dee is deceased, so there's not a lot of things that we really need to dig up there specifically for the case. But we do know that there just seems to be a long pattern from being in a wheelchair to, you know, getting people to assist them with finances and things like that. And that's why I caution anyone at this point not to put money in the account until their accounts until we kind of figure out the extent of their deception. The sheriff's office up there did not speak to them. They waited until detectives arrived. We tried to get a private charter flight out, but due to financial costs, we couldn't get up there as quick as we wanted. So we had to book a commercial flight for the detectives to fly up. As soon as they were up there, and they were able to interview both, and also
You figured out that you really didn't need to be in a wheelchair.
Yes.
When was that?
I always knew that I didn't need the wheelchair
And how did you know that?
because I could walk.
Did you and your mother obtain any kind of advantage by you being in a wheelchair?
Yes, sir.
What kind of advantage did you obtain?
Financial, attention, charity.
Financially mean money.
Yes, sir.
Did you obtain money as a result of you being in a wheelchair?
Yes, sir.
Why you obtained an advantage for being in a wheelchair? You said people gave you money, and then I think my next question is why did they give you money?
Because they felt sorry for me. They believed the lie. They believed the fraud.
When did you tell Nick about the wheelchair? That you being in a wheelchair?
I think maybe a month or so after we met.
When did you tell Nick that you didn't need to be in a wheelchair?
A year into our relationship.
So if your relationship began in October of 2012, it would have been sometime in 2013 that you first told him that you really didn't need to be in a wheelchair.
That is correct.
Were you ill during this period of time?
No, sir.
Did you ever tell Nick that you were ill or that you had illnesses?
I told him that I had illnesses, yes, sir.
Did you ever tell him that you really weren't ill?
Yes, sir.
When did you tell him you really weren't ill?
The same time that I told him that I didn't need to be in the wheelchair.
What happened when you ran? Tell us about running away in 2011.
It was in the middle of the night, and I packed a small bag of stuff, and my mother was asleep, so I left the house, and I met up with one of my friends.
And where did you go?
To first at Mercy Hospital in Springfield, and then to his house.
And at some point, did your mom figure out where you were?
Yes, sir.
And when was that?
4 hours later.
What happened when your mother figured out where you were?
She took me back home. She smashed my computer and my cell phone. She chained me to a bed for 2 weeks.
Did you ever tell Nick about all that?
Yes.
Is that the only time you ran away?
Yes.
I would be glad to. Why did you not tell doctors that you knew you could walk or you didn't believe yourself to be ill during the time that you were doing this?
I didn't think that anyone would believe me. I thought they would eventually tell my mom, and that would make my home life even worse for me. I feared her more than I feared anyone.
Gypsy, how many boyfriends did you have prior to Nick?
None.
Now, I want to start talking about...
We got to see each other in person for the first time.
Did it become physical that night?
Yes.
And you know what I mean by physical, don't you?
Yes.
What do I mean?
We had sexual relations.
And where?
In the bathroom stall of the men's bathroom.
It isn't.
Okay, so she's had sex before she had sex with you?
She's had sex with me. I actually one who took her virginity.
Oh, so you guys had sex a different time than this?
Yes.
Oh, when did that happen?
It was in a what the heck was it? It was a theater.
In a theater?
Yeah.
In Springfield or somewhere different?
Springfield.
Wow, did her mom know?
We kept it from her mom.
Okay. Where did you have sex at in the theater?
It was in a bathroom.
Okay, in a girl's bathroom or boys' bathroom?
She just took me to the boys' bathroom. I didn't have any choice. I just went right into the boys' bathroom. I guess she's okay with it.
Okay. Okay. Was that a year ago, 2 years ago? How long ago was that?
That was back in March.
Back in March of
this year.
Oh, okay. So you were in Springfield before.
Yep.
And did her mom know you were here?
No, I got to meet her mom in person for the first time.
And was her mom nice to you, or?
Yeah, she was really nice to me. And then, I don't know what it was, but apparently the night got ruined in some way. I was trying to understand what was going on with her mom, but
okay.
I don't know exactly what happened.
So did you meet her at the theater?
Yeah, I did meet her, but I was waiting for her for quite some time.
If Dee Blanchard had been charged with fraud, several potential charges could have been applicable based on her actions. Here is a list of possible fraud-related charges that could have been brought against her. Medical fraud. Deceptively obtaining medical services and treatments for Gypsy by falsifying her medical conditions. Insurance fraud. Committing fraud to obtain insurance benefits or financial assistance under false pretenses. Social Security fraud. Falsely claiming disability benefits or other government assistance based on fabricated medical conditions. Financial fraud. Misleading others to obtain financial support, donations, or charitable contributions based on false claims about Gypsy's health. Child abuse. Although not strictly a fraud charge, the abuse and neglect Gypsy suffered could be considered as a form of criminal misconduct with potentially similar legal consequences. These charges reflect the serious nature of the deceit and manipulation Dee Dee engaged in, impacting multiple aspects of her and her daughter's lives. In Missouri, medical fraud is treated seriously and can result in substantial penalties. The specific prison sentence for medical fraud can vary based on the details of the case, including the amount of money involved and the nature of the fraud. Generally, medical fraud in Missouri can be charged as a felony, and the penalties for felonies can vary significantly. Here's a general breakdown. Class C felony. If the fraud involves amounts less than $500, it could be charged as a Class C felony. The maximum sentence for a Class C felony in Missouri is up to 7 years in prison. Class B felony. If the fraud involves amounts of $500 or more, it could be charged as a Class B felony. The maximum sentence for a Class B felony in Missouri is up to 15 years in prison. Class A felony. In cases of particularly severe fraud, such as those involving very large sums or if the fraud caused significant harm, the charges could escalate to a Class A felony which has a maximum sentence of up to 30 years in prison or life imprisonment. Additionally, the court may impose fines and restitution, and the defendant's criminal history and other factors could influence the final sentence. Each case is unique, so exact penalties would depend on the circumstances and the judge's discretion.